And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Yet again, here we are, because that's what we do. So we've been having fun so far today.
Yeah, we have been having fun.
This is cool. This is the way we do this. This is why we do this.
I
Billy, how you holding up over there?
I'm good.
You good?
You having fun over there?
I am having fun over here.
You know, nothing to do but just kick back and talk. Just have a good time.
I don't have to worry. Oh, I forgot to hit the music. Oh, I forgot to pot down.
Hey, are we recording?
Exactly.
Oh, no, now we can look at Dan. Dan,
we can look at Dan. Dan, are we recording? Okay, Dan gives me a thumbs up. We're moving along. This is usually the part of the show. The life of the highway. Damn you, bring that song.
I don't have to worry about who's that person sitting over there. And
yeah.
Is there mic on?
Yeah.
Is there mic on? Can we turn it off? Oh, and by the way, Tony, you're fired.
He's in Seneca Falls.
No, but Tony's not fired. I'm fired.
No, you were dislocated.
That's right.
Tony's fired. There's a difference.
We have some events coming up.
We have some. This is part of the show where we usually talk about events coming up, and you are usually the mistress of the event list.
Okay.
Not like Elvira, mistress of the night kind of.
No,
thing.
I don't have the body for that. So, or the black dress, or the
I was
dark
going to say
hair.
certain things we can get around certain things.
Well, we just had a game night at 585.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the one where it was all family game night. Well, for those that adults only, 18 plus, we have game night coming up on February 5th, also at the 585 Rock and Burger Bar. I believe it's going to be Cards Against Humanity, definitely. So big time. We had fun last time we did it. I want to make sure that Sean's not sitting next to me this time and pulling out my chair because I had a nice big bruise from last time against Cards Against Humanity. So I'm going to kick him in the ass. So we have that coming up, and then we are helping out a new local convention that they have a show coming up in April.
Guys, we franchised.
Yes.
That's what it feels like, basically. It's like,
producers of FLX Con.
FLX Con out of Finger Lakes. And can you tell us a little bit more about what's going on there?
It is the Finger Lakes Radio Group has asked us to step in and produce a one-day con event for them at the
Quality Inn of Waterloo.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we will be taking over their ballrooms, and we have a couple of panel rooms going and a gaming area, cosplay contests, and just our regular scheduled, our size, our time fun, but doing for them.
That's cool.
So that will be Saturday, April 18th from 10 a.m. to 5.
Yes. I should probably put that on my calendar so I don't plan something else.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd probably be a good thing.
Might...
Guest announcements will be coming once contracts get signed. So for those that are like, do you have any guest announcements? Yes, they're coming. We just
You're our guest.
Yes.
Be our guest. Be our guest. Put our service to the test. Yes, there we go.
Anne's rolling her eyes at us.
Yes.
Tickets, I don't know where the link is, but tickets are, adults will be $10. Children 11 and under are free with paid adult. Ages 12 to 17 are 7 for the one-day event.
If you like the FLX Con on Facebook, the link will be there for tickets.
Yes. So noted. Do we have anything else in the event?
May 30th and 31st, year 5 at the Total Sports Experience. We have
year 5 of what?
Flower City Comic Con.
City Comic Con.
It's FC cubed.
Yes.
Yes. Cubed. As Emily
FC
said.
cubed.
What's FC cubed?
No, it's FC3.
Oh, okay.
I've been joking around behind the scenes. I want to put together our own little music group and call it the FC4. Flower City Comic Con Choir.
Quartet.
No, that's
That'd be a
FC3 cubed. That's that's an equation for an explosive at that point. We'll sell you the whole seat, but you only need the.
You're hurting my brain.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
He was up
I was told
late
there'd be
last
no
night.
math. I was told there'd be no math.
He isn't setting his alarm anymore. So.
Anyway, so that's
yes,
cool.
We have our big event,
and we'll be talking more about that. We have Mick Foley, we have Jason Fount coming.
We are still working on other guests, so announcements will be coming once we have contracts signed.
Mark Hamill. Anyway.
Would you stop with that? People are actually going to believe you one day.
That's what they want.
They
Dan
already do.
is going to have a heart attack over there if you keep saying Mark Hamill.
He turned really right.
I didn't say it just then. You said that. It was you.
I
just
said,
that.
you keep saying that.
Keep saying what?
Exactly.
Resident Mark Hamill will be there. I don't know if there's a Mark Hamill in Fairport, but if there is,
Somewhere
I'll buy your ticket, Mr. Hamill.
Somewhere in the Monroe County area is a young man named Mark Hamill, and he's invited to the show. We'll even give him a table. He can sit in front of a picture of another Mark Hamill we know, and he can sign autographs. It'll be great. Anyway.
So yes, we're still working on filling our guest list.
One of these days, this is going to be recording the final moments of my life, because somebody's going to reach over and kill me while I'm saying all this crap.
And it might be Dan. I can say, oh, you're pretty safe because Dan isn't around.
Or
Yeah,
it could be Victor resident Harrison Ford, who
There
will
we
also
go. Who had a cameo at Flower City Comic Con.
Oh my god, you guys.
Oh
Dan's like, we have gone off the rails.
Oh, we live off the rails.
I know. You have
That is
been
when our
derailed at the station.
When our podcast is at its best, it's because it's not on the. It's not even in like anywhere near
the
train
wheelhouse,
tracks.
or yeah,
It's not even the wheelhouse
So-
train tracks.
So yes, Nico, more announcements will be coming.
And you'll be one of the first people we tell. I promise. You and Pete. All right, so we get the events out of the way. We talk about all that fun stuff, and now we get our question.
Did you pull up the question of the week?
Of course I did.
Okay, just checking.
I'm a trained professional. Don't try this at home. Well, try this at home, because that'd be fun. Anyway, our question of the week. Hey, Billy.
yes.
What is the first science fiction or fantasy book you remember reading, and what do you remember most about it?
It's a funny question. I actually meant to. I remember the book.
Mm-hmm.
Remember very, very little about it.
Okay.
It was called Half Magic
Uh-huh.
by Edgar Eger.
Edgar Eger.
Yes.
All right. Sounds like a pen name, if anything.
Probably. And I remember very little of the plot. I do remember reading it a couple times because I enjoyed it. And if I remember correctly, it had something to do with a coin that someone had to do maybe with wishes, and the wish sort of half came true.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's what I remember of it.
Okay.
And when I saw the question, I'm going to have to look up Half Magic, because I definitely remember that, reading it as a little kid. And I remember really liking it and remember almost nothing about it.
Okay. That's fair.
That's what now I'm going to go to the library and get Half Magic by Edgar Eger.
All right. How about you then?
It's a 4 out of 5 on Goodreads and 5 out of 5 on Common Sense Media.
Well, there you have it.
Originally published 1954.
Okay.
That's impressive.
Most impressive.
How about you there, Tom?
Well, growing up, I didn't necessarily read science fiction and fantasy. It was more of like the Little House on the Prairie type books and things like that. So, my first like sci-fi fantasy book that I like remember like truly reading, I've read a lot. English major. Happens. The one that I always go back to is The Deeds of Paxnarian by Elizabeth Moon.
Okay.
It follows a young shepherd farmer's daughter that doesn't want to marry the farmer's boy next door type thing, so she goes off to war. A fantasy series. She joins like a mercenary company and things like that, and she gets put into different things where she starts questioning faith and things like that, and then she ends up becoming a paladin of the god of the area.
Cool.
It is really, really cool.
Okay.
To the point where I've read it, Sean's read it, I've read it a couple times, Evan's read it, type thing. And the other series is by Glenn Cook. You'd have to ask Randy what it is.
I'm sure he has like 3 copies of it too.
He probably does. And it follows another mercenary type company, and that they I know it's Lady and the Master are like the 2 main evil people in it. And it's like just
is it a Doctor Who book?
No, not a Doctor Who book. It'll come to me when I'll research it while we're asking you. That's the other one that.
How about you, Dan?
Oh, Black Company. That's what it's called.
Nice job. Dan doesn't have a microphone, but he can shout it out. Oh, you got it. There you go. Dan's got a microphone.
You're going to bring me into this, huh?
I am going to bring you into this.
We brought you in all day.
I just been behind the scenes.
He is the man behind the scenes. But you're going to be on the mic for a moment there. Tell me about, because you're a voracious reader. I remember you always had a book in your
I
hand.
don't know what the earliest would be, but it either would be Robert Heinlein, Isaac Asimov, or J.R.R. Tolkien. One of those. I've read everything by all of them, so I don't know what order was first, but I just remember always reading.
Good.
So something from them probably.
Nice.
The first ones.
I remember. I only just recently, within the past few years, started getting into Asimov's real work. I remember reading Nightfall, his short story, a long time ago when I was in college. But I started reading Foundation, and in the first 2 sentences of the book, I just remember stopping and just staring and go, "This man was a freaking genius." You could the amount of imagery he put in just the first 2 sentences of the book. I'm like, it was a master of words. I'm like, oh my God, that was amazing.
Did you get into all of the books or just the Foundation books?
I haven't really, you know what? I've never been a really voracious reader. I'd like to be. I'm hoping that as I've been divesting myself of my MMO habit, my computer gaming habits, I've found more time at night to do things. So reading books might actually start happening for me in 2020.
Yeah, because it's got the robots in Empire too, and it's all really cool.
Allegedly, he's retired from WoW.
I am. I can say that officially.
But the other night when I was talking to you, you were just like,
when you're like, I'll pay for your subscription, and I thought about it for a second. And I'm like,
no, I'm retired.
Because as I was doing the mental equation in my head, I was like, I could see the amount of time that I would soak into actually playing again, and I'm like, no, we're off the rails again. Moving back to the question at hand, we'll discuss. You know what? We'll discuss my gaming addiction in our next episode. It will be a special episode of
Can we
Blossom.
invite Sean in?
Sure, because he took my spot.
Yes.
So yeah, Asimov, Heinlein, Tolkien. Absolutely, those are the triumvirate for a guy growing up in the 70s and 80s. Absolutely. Awesome. How about you there, young lady? Annie Pants?
So, I grew up in an era of books.
Yes, you did.
Lots of books.
Yes, you did.
My parents were free-range parents. So from the time I was 12 until I could work, I rode my bike into the cemetery at Holy Sepulchre.
Oh, yeah?
And then all the way down Lake Avenue to Charlotte Branch Library. And over the course of 3 summers, I read every single book in the sci-fi series.
Nice.
In the whole section, and all the young adult books.
So what was one of the first ones that you remember fondly?
It had to be the very first Star Trek book I started.
Okay.
I honestly can't remember. I've read so many of them now, probably hundreds.
It's funny you mention that, because maybe my real answer, since I don't remember half Magic very well, like it just from reading when I was 7 or 8, the first books I really do remember is the James Blish sort of novella of the TV episodes, the short story versions.
They were very short,
Yeah.
and I could go through 3 or 4 of them in an afternoon, sitting by the pond in Holy Sepulchre and loving it. And it was just, I read so many books in such a short time. I had a goal of 100 books a summer, and I beat it every year.
I've read maybe 100 books in my life, which is weird for an English major to say.
Yeah, but you're more of the English writing piece rather than reading.
Yeah, but a good writer reads a lot too, so they have inspiration, idea. They see how other mastercraft, work with words.
But you're reading through comics.
It is.
Yeah,
But a comic book has over 1,000 words per comic. You have to remember that. So if you look at young kids trying to read these days, you give them one of those easy reader books. There's 200 to 300 words in a normal 2nd to 3rd grade kid's book. You give them a comic book, not only are they reading over 1,000 words per comic book, but they're getting more information out of that book than they would an easy reader book.
Absolutely.
That's interesting.
That is.
Because they're
I've
also
heard
getting
that fact before, too.
the facial features and the emotions and everything that they would have to imagine on an easy reader book,
right?
Rather, because it's being described to them, where they can actually put the words to the facial expressions.
There's a study I read somewhere that kids get more empathy and wanting to help others from a comic book more than they would from any other books.
That's amazing.
So don't discourage any kids reading comic books.
Never.
Encourage.
Absolutely. All right. So as usual, as tradition has it, I'm the last to answer. I too remember a lot of the novelizations of Star Trek and Doctor Who episodes. I remember a lot of various books, and I did read. I tried to read Hobbit a couple of times when I was 12. Couldn't get through it, but I managed to finally succeed with The Hobbit when I was in high school. and Lord of the Rings when I was in college. Because when Lord of the Rings, it's when I discovered D&D. So that's really kind of when you're immersing yourself into the whole idea. As far as a fantasy book is concerned, I remember discovering James and the Giant Peach by Roald Dahl when I was like 10 or 11. And I mean, that's high fantasy. This young boy finds this peach that had grown to the size of a house through whatever magical means, and all these insects are human-sized insects, and they go on this adventure with this flying peach. So I mean, that's high fantasy right there. And just the adventure of it and the whimsy of it, I just thought it was phenomenal. So I think that it strikes me as one of the first fantasy books that I ever read as a kid.
Okay, speaking of Dahl, is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yep.
I'm changing my answer again.
I'm going to jump on in Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator.
Yep.
The one that followed up.
Book with a sequel? Are you kidding me? This is phenomenal.
That's all in space.
With the vermicious Knids. Come on.
The elevator going all different directions.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's the Wonkavator.
The Wonkavator, which turns into a spacecraft, apparently. So I think that's my earliest memory of a fantasy book that I read. I also remember in terms of sci-fi, like I said, the Star Trek and the Doctor Who novelizations. Return of the Jedi novelization. I read that. And I managed to somehow read it before I actually saw the movie. So here I am. I'm the only 11-year-old in my class that actually knew that Luke and Leia were sister and brother before anybody else did.
Wow.
Yeah, I had spoilers. Anyway,
spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie yet, spoilers.
If you haven't yet, you probably were just recently born.
Yeah, well.
And don't understand any languages whatsoever yet. So that's probably, I think, the only people who did know that.
You know, I have coworkers that have never seen Star Wars.
Yeah, and we don't.
I
friends
can't
don't
talk
dance,
to
and
them.
if they don't dance, then they're no friends of mine.
I know they're coworkers.
Yes.
There's a reason why they don't
That's
get
it. So there are two people on the planet. There are people who watch Star Wars and people who are wrong. So
Are they the ones that watch Star Trek?
probably.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to get into that. That Star Wars versus Star Trek thing. No, I'm not doing that. That was bait. Oh my God, that was horrible.
Or
I almost
open
took
and encompassing.
In a couple of weeks, though, we are going to be talking about the Rise of Skywalker. So get ready for that particular conversation because we're going to put our 2 cents in on the finale of the Skywalker saga, and we might even have a special guest at the table with us.
Victor's Harrison Ford.
Yes. and Parma's Mark Hamill.
I thought that was Fairport.
The Billy D. Williams from Rockport.
That's right.
Oh my God. You know, somewhere I think at home I have it cut out of Yoda. Like one of those stand cardboard cutouts.
It's possible.
Maybe.
It's possible.
Yeah, I think I have one somewhere.
All right. So we're going to wrap it up for now. So for Billy, for Tanya, for myself, for Dan, and for Ann, this has been Monkey Business. Your one-stop shop for everything geeky. You know what? I don't miss that music at all. I really don't.
Oh,
Dan,
we had the new music.
We had the new music. Dan,
music.
can you overlay Madness by Madness? The British band Madness over this. Because I'm going to just keep talking. Madness, they call it. Anyway, so
Hold on.
where are we?
Purveyors and producers.
Of the Flower City Comic Con coming at you like a spider monkey at the end of May 30th, 31st at the Total Sports Experience in Gates. Find us on Facebook, like us on Twitter, like us on Instagram, follow us wherever we go, and we will lead you to where the entertainment is. You guys, we will see you all very soon. You have a great week. Take care of you, and we'll see you on Nerd World News on Monday night. Ciao for now.
Bye.